Siento en el alma un inmenso dolor y no lo puedo expresar. Mi raza está olvidando su ayer y no lo puedo evitar. Un inmenso dolor y no lo puedo expresar. Mi raza está olvidándose ayer y no lo puedo evitar. Quisiera ser como un rayo de sol que alumbre el amanecer y con su luz hacer comprender lo que Latinoamérica es. Hermanos del norte hasta el sur, un solo idioma, una realidad. Vamos hermanos, nos van a escuchar, con voces apoya vamos a cantar.
Welcome to another day of our STEAM week with GEG Guate. I am so happy to be already in day number 4. We're almost wrapping up the week, and I appreciate that you guys, that English speakers, have joined in this, celebration of our second anniversary of our GEG. Well, but you know what? It took us a little time to get started, but our presenter is already here, and he is ready to share with you a very interesting topic, something that has been trending, artificial intelligence. And he's going to be sharing awesome ideas of how we can apply it in our classrooms. So please, let's welcome our friend and colleague, Rudy Escobar. Hello, Rudy. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, even though everything's took us a while to get connected, but we're here.
Don't worry, I'm very happy to have you here, and I think you have something really cool to show us today. So I'm gonna go ahead and share your screen. The stage is all yours. Please don't forget to drop your questions in the comments if you are watching this recording. And hi, Mel. It's not that I'm cold, as I actually got sick, but I'm here and happy, and of course, happy to have you here supporting us. So if you're watching this recording, you can leave your questions and comments. Also, and we're gonna leave Rudy's contact so you can keep learning. So let's see what Rudy has for us today.
So let's see if we can start playing the music a little bit just to get it started. So good afternoon, everybody. If you can hear the music right now. So again, my name is Rudy Escobar. There's my Twitter handle and my Instagram account. If you want to follow us, and then we can get more information from me. But the music that you're listening to right now is actually created by artificial intelligence. So I wanted to get that started so that way you can start seeing some of the things that we can do with AI. And later on, at the end of the session, you'll have all the resources available for you, so you can actually look at them and kind of evaluate them and think what you some of the things that you think about. I do want to tell you that some of the things that we'll use today, depending on the age group, you might be able to use them or you might not be able to use them. Depending on the country that you're on, you might be able to use them or not. And we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But I hope that today you take all of these into account. And if we can go to the next slide, please. So artificial intelligence. So one of the things that I wanted to start this session today about is really looking at what can artificial intelligence do, what can it do, and what can we do with it. So if we can go ahead and click on that video. You can pause it right there. Thank you. So the video was lagging off a little bit, but what I wanted you to see is that I did not make that video and that slide show at all. It was all created by artificial intelligence. Those are the things that we can do now with artificial intelligence. And it's so exciting because there's so many things that are happening now in our world that is happening very fast. There's so many things that we can create with artificial intelligence that really we don't have to do much. So what does that do to us? How does that work in our classrooms? So can we go to the next slide, please? Our students are really living in this world in which artificial intelligence is a part of their lives. We just can't get away from that anymore. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we help them to become students that are not only consumers, but really they become the creators of that technology. That's really what we want to focus on. So when you think about computer science, we think about artificial intelligence. We shouldn't be scared of it. We shouldn't be trying to avoid it. But what we should do is we should try to really teach our kids to be able to become creators of this technology and thinking about all the ethics behind it. Next slide, please. So what is artificial intelligence? So as you can see here, it says artificial intelligence, AI, is the simulation of a human intelligence process by computer systems. This process includes learning, reasoning, and self-correction. Now, it can be used to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision-making, and language understanding. Now, I put this definition here because I really wanted you to visualize what AI can do. So you've seen that we can do music, you've seen that we can do video, and this description that you have here was actually created by artificial intelligence. I did not write this. It's actually created by artificial intelligence. So how does artificial intelligence work and where are we located? For our own understanding, a simplified version of this is really thinking about computer science as a big umbrella, then artificial intelligence is inside of that, and then machine learning is inside of that. So when we think about teaching artificial intelligence, we have so many subjects included in here, such as mathematics, we have engineering, we have science, we have computer science, we have English, everything, all of these other subjects, even Spanish, if we're speaking in Spanish. So all of those things are on there. And I have there the link for the, just for the image, so that way you know where I'm getting this information from. Next slide, please. So when we think about teaching artificial intelligence, here in the United States, we have what is called AI for K-12, org. That link right there, you'll have it in your resources. But really, we look at five big ideas: the perception, the representation and reasoning, the learning, the natural interaction, and the societal impact. So every time we're teaching artificial intelligence, we have to think about these five big ideas. And today I don't have time to really go in detail about them, but I just want you to have an idea of what really, when we teach artificial intelligence in our classrooms, this is how we can actually think about them and thinking about those big ideas. Next. So there are some quick tools that you can use with artificial intelligence. Some of you might be familiar with already. The first two that you see there, the auto draw, the quick draw, and I have a Google Doc on there. Those are very simple things that have been using AI for a while. These are probably some of the tools that started all of this. So can we click on the Google Doc logo there, please? Or if we have the file on the chat.
I'm afraid I must request access so that I can view
Oh, sorry. Let me actually give you the access. Actually, in the meantime, can we click on the auto draw, please?
Sure, sure, sure. Okay. I love this one though. Can I
So
start?
the auto draw is a very fun tool to start doing things. So go ahead and let's see. Go ahead. Let's go ahead and play with it.
Yeah.
Let's think of draw a bus.
Okay, I'll give you my best version of a bus. You're gonna love it.
So notice that at the top, it gives you trying to guess what you want, what you're trying to draw. So if you click on the top, it actually draws exactly what you were trying to do. So it starts to give you different options of how to use these drawings. So this is a good tool just to play around with the kids, for them to start seeing what happens to how does AI actually identify depending on what you're trying to do. Now, one of the things about artificial intelligence and machine learning is that the more you do these, the model continues to record, and then it continues to think about it continues to use that data to be able to generate more and more things for this. So as you can see, that it's actually doing there the car with the sun, and it starts to use a few more things that she's working with. This is a tool that you can easily fall into a rabbit hole because you can play this forever. Now, another one that we can do, if you can go back, is this one. This one is Quick Draw. This is a good game to play with. And for example, here you have, once you start, you have 20 seconds to do the drawing. So for example, it tells you there, you're gonna draw a penguin. Oh, so go ahead and draw a penguin, try to draw a penguin, and it'll try to guess.
O arcoiris. O collar.
I think I'm a little lost with penguins here.
Es pingüino.
Yay, it guessed.
There we go. And then you go through the next one.
Parece océano. O teclado. O almohada. O goma de borrar. Lo sé, es piscina.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Parece arcoiris.
This really challenges my drawing abilities. You're learning English and Spanish here. Look, X.
Parece palo. O clarinete. O goma de borrar. O crayón.
Oh no.
Parece dentífrico. O lápiz labial.
No.
O computadora portátil. Parece nevera
Oh, I
portátil.
didn't guess. Mwah.
Okay, so we're gonna close it up so that way we can continue. You can actually play this game, and it guesses up to 6 different drawings, and then it'll give you a result. And once it gives you a result, you can actually go in and look at all the data that has been inputted into the system. So that way you can actually work with students and show them how it actually starts to identify and what is it that it's using as data to be able to pull that those guessing pieces that it's doing. So now you have access now to that document.
I have
so
it.
You can go ahead and click on it.
There you go.
There you go. So if you click on the insert, I'm sorry, it's actually tools. on tools, you should see, if I recall
Voice
right,
dictation.
voice typing. Oh,
Mhm.
dichos, yeah, that one. So go ahead and say something. Let's see.
Welcome to our day 4 of STEAM Week.
So this is one of the things that Google has already included in all their systems. So it can actually do. You just click on the button, and it'll start actually using AI to be able to predict your what you're actually saying. You can actually do it in different languages, and you can add this to any of the tools that actually have typing on. So you can do this in presentations. You can do in Google Docs. I think I haven't ever tried it with Google Sheets, but it can do different things, and it'll actually do it for you, and you can even translate it if you want to.
This is
So
a
just wanted
time
to show you
saver.
those quick tools, those quick tools to be able to do that. Now, in the resources, I will give you much more of the ones that you can use with text, but these are very simple tools that we can use and begin to introduce students to artificial intelligence. So now let's keep going into the next slide, please. So now what I like to think about is, so where does all of this come from? Where does it really, where all these things come from? So you heard me talking about machine learning, and there are different training models that you can use. And here I have 3 examples, and we might not be able to click to all, but I am going to show you the resources. I try to use Teachable Machine right now, and my computer is slowed down, so that's why I'm trying not to use it. But those 3 that I have there, you have Machine Learning for Kids, which is made by IBM. Then you have Teachable Machine, that is from Google. And then I put code.org at the bottom. This is a very simple lesson for your young ones. So if we have those teachers that are in the K2 world, you can actually use this one if you haven't used it. It's a very simple one. So we might start with that one. So let's see if you can click, please, on the one at the bottom, which is the code.org. There we go. And you can skip the video. And we're just going to give a little demonstration. We're not going to do the whole thing. Your computer's a little slow too. There we go. Well, this is interesting. It's actually showing it to you in Spanish. Huh. So it gives you, for those teachers that are actually teaching the lower elementary grades, you can actually have here, start with this one, and it starts to use artificial intelligence to start guessing onto what this is, and you're actually training, what we call training the model. So for example, here it's asking, is this a fish? And so you can actually click on fish at the bottom. So I give us instructions. There we go. So you can click on fish if it's a fish, and not a fish if it's not a fish. So go ahead, let's see if you can click on it. So here, you, for example, you click it, it's a fish, not a fish, not a fish. And it gives you some descriptions. Go ahead and continue. And just to keep showing you on this, it keeps on training the model as much as you want it to be. So go ahead and click on continue. So now it's going to test your model. So it's actually going to test to see what if it can identify all fish. So go ahead and click run. Okay, so it identifies some. It sees some. It continues to see, continues to see. So you see the check mark. It's actually identifying the can as being a fish. So what this tells us, this shows our kids that when you're training a model, just because you're training it doesn't mean that it always identifies it. So one of the things that we show our students is that you have to have a lot of the data that you have to put into the system to be able to identify it correctly. And this is a good opportunity for us to teach ethics to students, because depending on the data that you actually put into your model, that's the data that it's going to try to analyze. So let's go ahead and go back to the presentation, please. So another one that we have, and we're not going to have time to do this one as much, but if you can click on the ML that is there, the machine learning. Machine learning is another training model that you can use for kids. And one of the things about this one is that you don't even have to have an account. So if you click there on where it says, oh, it's actually now in Portuguese. Go ahead and click on that one. And you can actually log in if you want to, or you can just try it now. If you click on try it now, you don't have to register, and you can begin training models. Now, if you are brand new at this, don't click on it. But if you're new at this, yeah, I would say don't start with a new model or a new project, because you will have to do a little bit of training. But we do a lot of lessons with kids where they can just begin to identify certain things. For example, if it's hot, is it cold? Different sounds, etc. But now, one of the things about this resource is that if you go to the top of the menu, all the way to the top, if you click on the where it says about, on the left-hand side, about, it gives you some descriptions of things that can happen. So, for example, here it gives you the video. It gives you some of the things that you can build. It tells you some explanations about this and how this system works. And if you go up to the top again on the menu, if you go to the next one, I can't see. Oh yeah, where it says worksheets. On worksheets, if you minimize your screen a little bit, you'll see that on the worksheets, it gives you already made worksheets that you can actually do with your students. And this gives you things that you can do with Scratch and with machine learning. So you can train a model, and then by training the model, you can code it in Scratch, which is a specific version of Scratch that is already attached to machine learning. It's not the actual Scratch website. But you can do any of these worksheets with your students, and you can actually do a lot of things that can help you to do different lessons with your students with machine learning. So lastly, on the top, if you go all the way to the top, you also can see some pre-trained models where you click on train, pre-train. It'll give you some pre-trained models and some speech to text already, some face detection. So it tells you how to get started and how to do it in the Scratch model. So you have other resources here that you can use to test it out. To be honest, when I first started with this a long time ago, when machine learning for kids started, I just went in there and started playing with it. So any teacher can go in there and start playing with it and just reading the instructions, and you'll see that it's easy to access and easy to use. Okay, so can we go back to the other to the slide again? Lastly, we have Teachable Machine. I'm not sure how many. Teachable Machine is very popular. Actually, if you can go back. Yeah, Teachable Machine is very popular. It's actually made with Google. Teachable Machine, it's another way to train models. Very easy to use. We can use this up from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. Now, I would not recommend you to use it with K2 by themselves, but you can actually use it to be able, you train the model and then do things with them. But for example, you can click on Get Started. Go ahead and click on Get Started. And you can train a model to do images, you can do audio, or you can even do poses. The most common one is the image project. So if you click on the image project, I click on standard model. You can do a lot of things with this model. So you can actually use your webcam. You can upload images. So for example, I have a friend that actually she does a lot of things with the little ones, with the young ones, and she uploads the models of vegetables, for example, of junk food. So if you click on hold record, go ahead and click on hold record as you're doing this. It's going to sample your images. And the more you click on the record button, it'll sample more and more. So that's one. So now go ahead and go to the second class at the bottom. And do the same thing, but do a different image. There we go. So once you are done, you can click on train the model. And on the titles where we have class 1 and class 2, we could actually call it call the title. We could say, but right now you can't change it anymore because we're training the model. But we could have said smile with a hand gesture, or smile without a hand gesture. So it takes a little bit to train depending on the speed of your internet. That's why I'm not using it, because right now it's really slow. It's going to give us a little bit of time. Hopefully it'll train quickly. Now keep in mind that the same thing I told you on the other two, the more data you place in there, the more it's going to identify it faster. So here's just giving you a visual of how the model gets trained. It's taking us, right now it's going 6, so it's taking a little bit to train. Where are we on the numbers? Oh, I see it. It's going. So don't move and it should go there. Don't use anything else. If you have a fast Wi-Fi or fast internet, it loads very quickly. But we're just going to show this real quick so that way everybody can see what you can do with teachable machine if you haven't done so. So now go ahead and click on that X. Just remove that X from there. So now you have the camera in front of you, and notice that class 1 and class 2, right now it's identifying all the images that you have with class 1. But now change it to the, I think you had your hand up on the other one or your finger. Now it's identifying class 1. So this is a very quick way to do something with teachable machine and show kids how face recognition works in this case. And this is how it identifies. I actually, this last time I was in Guatemala, I actually saw that they have some face recognition places, which is pretty interesting and scary at the same time. But this is one way that we can actually teach students about face recognition. So if we can move on to the next one. Actually, to the next, yes. So the way I set up this presentation is for us to continue moving along little by little into how things have been developing over time and things that are coming up as we're moving forward. So here are two text-to-images that AI that have become very popular. You notice that image on the right-hand side, I actually created that one with DALL-E 2. It's fully created by AI, and it just made in that form. For DALL-E, it is recommended for 13 and up. So this is not something that, but if you want to do something for your kids, you can use it. Just keep in mind to read all the disclosures about data analysis and things like that. It's very simple. If you actually just type in the search and you put in, and I wanted to actually show you my screen, but I can't. But if you actually just put in a prompt in the screen, in the search, sorry, it'll actually build a new image for you. And so that's one thing that is a very easy thing to do. So let's go ahead and step out of that one. And let's go ahead and go to the crayon, the one on the top. Actually, it's on the top. There we go. I think it's actually you have to be on crayon. So it was on the top one in the presentation. One more. You passed it. Yeah, that one. Crayon is a really fun AI text to image. It's also made by OpenAI, but this is the previous version. It's called DALL-E Mini. And go ahead and just put something there. Did you put a cure puppy drinks or drinking? So depending on the speed of your network, it'll actually start drawing. So if you click on drawing, in this case, it'll give you different options. It usually tells you that it takes about 2 minutes, but we can come back to it in a little bit. Yeah, we'll come back in a little bit, and then you can show them actually what it actually does, because it actually develops some images for that. So if we move to the next screen, we'll come back to Crayon. We have to, I want to talk a little bit about chatbots, because this is what's really popular right now. And I like to start with something very simple. If you see there, Talk to Tina, the T-Rex, for those teachers that are in the lower grade levels, this is a good way to get them started with how chatbots work. What do they do? because a lot of students don't really understand what really chatbots do. And as you see at the bottom, I have ChatGPT there. ChatGPT is so popular now. So everybody's talking about ChatGPT and what you can do with it. And we'll talk a little bit about the good and the bad from ChatGPT. So if you click on that T-Rex chatbot, go ahead and open it up a little bit. This is a dinosaur from National Geographic that you can actually talk to. So go ahead and just type something, ask him a question. It tells you there, ask him about his appearance, or her appearance, I'm sorry. And this is a very interesting, chatbot because sometimes students will put in anything and you'll see something like this one. It'll say that it's not its area of expertise. So why not ask something else? So sometimes it'll give you the answer. This is a good opportunity for students to see that just because artificial intelligence can do a lot of things, it cannot do everything. And the way you input the information is how you're going to get the information outputted. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back. And go ahead and go back to Crayon. Let's see if your image already got developed. There we go. So as you notice, when Betsy actually put in the cute puppy drinking milk, and all of these images were generated by the AI. Now, the difference between Crayon and you have DALL-E 2 there. There's also Stable Diffusion. There's so many image generators, text image generators now. The difference is that the quality and the capacity of imaging and the resolution gets better. So here, Crayon is a very simple thing to see. You can download those images, and you can see that these were all generated by AI, meaning that they did not exist before. Now, DALL-E will do something like I showed you on the screen. It'll do something better. There's like Stable Diffusion is used a lot in game design. Those are a lot higher. Now, I do want to talk a little bit before we continue to going into chatbots. I do want to talk about there is two sides of the picture about AI, especially when we talk about ChatGPT and when we talk about something like DALL-E or Stable Diffusion. This doesn't mean that artists are going to go away or writers are going to go away. All these things are artificial intelligence can do a lot of things for you, but we need to teach our students that it doesn't mean that they're going to replace people or replace humans. We need the creativity of humans. We need all the things that we need from humans. So it's very important that they understand that they're only helping us to do something, but it's not replacing humans. So that's extremely important. So I do want to finish up here. If you can click on ChatGPT. And if you're not familiar with ChatGPT, you're going to have to do a login. I'm sorry. You're going to have to do a login. I'm not going to be able to talk about it. But ChatGPT is really a text AI. It's super popular right now because you can type almost anything on ChatGPT and it'll give you an answer to. Now, there is some things that you can type on it and it won't give you an answer to, but it all depends on what you type. But you can actually ask them for either you want to write a new code, you want to write an essay, you want to write a letter of recommendation. I mean, it can do so many things. So why do I bring in ChatGPT? Well, first of all, everybody's using it right now. It's very popular. And a lot of schools are banning ChatGPT. Now, in my own opinion, ChatGPT can be two ways. It can be used in a bad way, or it can also be used in a good way. You were able to log in? Perfect. So some of the things that I wanted to show, there's some examples that you can use there. But for me, what I think about the good thing about ChatGPT that you can do with, is actually do it for some important things for teachers. So if you go back to the bottom, at the bottom of the search, go ahead and type in there, write an essay. Actually, write an essay that students can correct. I think that's what I had last time. And go ahead and click on search. I'm sorry, on the right hand side. So what you can do is you can actually give instructions to students on how to write essays, or you can actually tell ChatGPT to write an essay that is completely written wrong, and you can print it out and give it to your students, and your students actually can make the corrections. So when we think about not using AI, I want to, especially with ChatGPT, think about what are the benefits of using ChatGPT as a teacher, or even as for students to be able to use it in a meaningful way, and also with an ethical way, because that's extremely important. Some of the things that you do need to keep in mind is that with ChatGPT, anybody below 13 should not be using it. They actually say it on their website that anybody below 13, they need to know if somebody's using it. And I would recommend always to be cautious with your students. But there's so many things that you can do here with ChatGPT for yourself and also with your students. One of the things that I've been playing around with is asking ChatGPT to give me a prompt to be able to put it into DALL-E, which is the image generator. So for example, Betsy, can you put in there at the bottom, put in there, give me a prompt for beautiful Guatemala. Go ahead and click. And by the way, ChatGPT is used, it has so many users that sometimes it takes a while to load. I think it's at the bottom, all the way to the bottom. Right there. So it gives you a prompt there. So then you can actually take that prompt and put it in DALL-E, and it actually will draw something, and it'll actually give you images of Guatemala that are created by AI. But you have to have on DALL-E, you're going to have the account if you don't have the account. So that's just to give you some ideas that you can do with ChatGPT. Now, on the resources, you will have a lot more things that you can do with ChatGPT and other some of the other resources. So if you can click on the next slide, please. There's a Wakelet. Here's a bit.ly for the Wakelet. Also, it's actually given to you in the resources here in this screen, and you can actually get all these resources. I've been trying to kind of put different resources for different grade spans. So if you want to click on there and do some checking it out and just play around with them, I continue to add more as I move forward. And I try to put them by grade level. Sometimes some of them will repeat in some of the grade levels, but you'll have some resources there that you can use to try it out, with your students. And also some of the ones that we did right now, also during the presentation, are also included in here. And so it's just go ahead and play around with it. And I hope you continue to just build knowledge for your students with artificial intelligence. Or if you feel like you don't know much, go in here and try it out, test it out. Start with something small. So we go back to the presentation, please.
Let's go.
There we go. Okay, there we go, the presentation. Okay, so we go back to the presentation. I just want to say thank you. There's a bit.ly for the resources again, and thank you so much for being here. I hope this is useful for you, and you actually can play around with some of those tools and spend more time with the tools, really, because we didn't spend that much time with the tools, and I know our internet was lagging a little bit.
Well, I have something special for you because I did manage to enter the description in DALL-E. I created the account. Remember the prompt that the ChatGPT gave us? Describe the natural beauty and cultural richness of Guatemala and explain why it should be a must-visit destination for travelers. This is going to save us all the thinking, whenever we are creating tasks, especially writing tasks. If you're an English teacher, you have the image, you have the prompt. What else do you want to ask life for?
Yeah. So,
I love
so,
it,
so
Rudy.
thank you for bringing that up because it's important that for all of us as educators to think about that that really technology is here, it's really advancing. Our students are actually on it already. So what are we doing as educators to be able to move forward with them and be able to be side by side with them, teaching them the ethics behind it, how does it work, and how do they create more things with this instead of trying to go against it.
I totally agree with you. This is fantastic. It even has variations. Wow. I
Yes, you
mean,
can choose variations.
And I want to thank you, Rudy. It's been hard, because of connection and whatnot, but I appreciate the effort you've done. I value your time, and I'm pretty sure teachers are going to be very thankful with these ideas and tools that the only way that we can figure out how they work and what else they can do is by exploring them. So, backing up on what you said before, go ahead and explore them. All of the resources are going to be in our site. And Rudy has been kind enough to share everything with us. This is fantastic because you have handy just a click away all the things you need from this session today. I'm gonna go ahead and show you where you can find the social media to contact Rudy. He's in Twitter, and that's how we got to bring him today. So thank you for accepting the invitation, Rudy.
Thank
He's
you.
actually traveling, if I'm not wrong, but he's taking the time for you guys. So I hope that you also take the time to go ahead and explore. This is where you can find his social media links, and then we have added the collection that he created, where he's still curating all of this awesome stuff related to AI. By the way, this is where you're going to find the participation form after you finish watching this recording, or if you're live, I'm going to go ahead and put the link so you can fill out the form and generate your certificate for participating with us. So go ahead and explore day 4, which has been amazing. Thank you so much, Rudy. Um, Fun fact, in case you didn't know, Rudy is also from Guatemala. Is that right, Rudy?
Yes, I am from Guatemala. Proud, proud, proud Guatemala.
Well, so thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. Don't forget, we have some pretty comments on the chat. Mel is also great support to this group. It's part of the community in Twitter. So thank you, Mel, for joining. We have Mel, Maria Del Mar clapping there,
Thank you so
and
much.
some other people who joined there. Sheila says, "Thank you, Rudy, for sharing." So it's
Thank
been a
you.
great session. I truly enjoyed it a lot. Don't forget tomorrow's session. Tomorrow, you want to know who's gonna be with us tomorrow, Rudy? Let's watch who's gonna be with us tomorrow, please. Let's take a look at our experts. Linda, thank you for being with us. She says excellent resources. Well, tomorrow you'll have more resources and you'll meet awesome people as well. We're going to have Michelle Taffy from Kick Out Cultures is an outstanding group. I'm just amazed about all the work they do involving youth in projects and innovations related to the sustainable development goals. You can't miss that. That's going to be in the afternoon session. But in the morning, we added a new session with this wonderful author, Steam Power, infusing art into your STEM curriculum with Kim Needles. You can't miss that either. So we hope to see you there and that you watch these recordings. These sessions focused on STEAM are really helpful now that we're back to normal, if that's what we can call it. Our kids are back into our classroom. We need to give them this experiential learning. We need to have them doing, more hands-on activities. Keep them busy, but busy in a very good way. Um, promoting creativity, critical thinking, and other skills that are very important for our kids. It's time to have them back, so it's time to take advantage of the time with them, and why not through STEAM. Rudy, thank you so much for your time. We're
Thank
going to
you.
continue in contact with you. It's been wonderful to have you here. I told you we were going to have fun, didn't I?
Yes, yes, you did. Thank you so much.
Okay, Rudy, take
Good.
care. See you next
Thank you. Bye bye.
time. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.